answer. Well,
You were banging her?
I
The girl
guess.
you were banging from behind. The girl that was wearing the protein mask.
The girl I do doggy style, that one.
Okay.
So anyway,
Okay.
yeah, well, she knows the guy because he owns a go-go bar, Twin Peaks, and he called me up.
And
So
got you guys a gig. That's all there was to it.
that was it.
Now, when is this thing going to be broadcast on pay-per-view?
What is it, like a week later or something? A couple of days later.
About a week later. Al, I guess somebody will have the date for us. We'll roll it up on the screen.
Edit it or whatever.
Now, this is going to be 10 bands.
10 already. I thought it was like 7.
Yeah? So you just keep
Is it
adding?
10 now? Gee.
10 bands. And what time are doors opening?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock. And where are you guys slotted in this whole thing?
What are we, like, 3rd or 4th or something like that?
3rd or 4th. Now, I would think, just from talking to you guys, that it's going to be a pretty wild night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it usually is.
It's going to be a
Yeah,
A lot of great bands.
Don't break the seats.
And again, another plea, don't break the seats. Break your own damn stuff, won't you? That's good. So hopefully you guys will be down there kicking some butt. And I understand we have a video to roll in from you guys. What's the name of the song and where was it shot?
I think it's I Tried, and it was shot at the Fast Lane in Asbury Park.
And I tried Fastbury. Listen to me, Al. Oh, we can't even go back and correct this because we're running the Fast Lane in Asbury Park. That's my second screw up of the night. But nonetheless, Al, we have this thing queued up. All set. All right, here we go. Faster A. You're right. There's some pretty aggressive stuff going on there. Now, what do you guys see as like the future for this type of music? I mean, do you think there's going to be a big future in it? Do you think it's going to come up like the way, you know, quote unquote, the alternative stuff did, like the Pearl Jam and all that kind of thing that was considered kind of out there for a while?
Yeah, I think they got to listen.
You say that again?
That's the style that ripped ours and made it wimpy.
So you don't like that whole thing?
It's garbage.
It's garbage.
It's all bit off old punk anyway, you know.
Right.
Rehashing that.
Fake.
Right. So you don't like. So there's no merit to any of that whatsoever.
It's just my opinion.
No, that's okay. But that's why you're here. We want your opinion. Do you guys have the opinion that if anything goes out and becomes successful, that it's now not street worthy?
No.
Like if you guys put out an, is Metallica still street worthy because they sold a zillion albums?
Metallica?
Yeah. Would you think so?
I still think they're great.
I never really
See,
liked
this is different, though, because this was never really noticed by anything but the underground, you know?
Right, exactly. But, I mean, you got to remember
it-
stuff like Metallica and Megadeth and stuff, you know,
Yeah.
10 years ago, I mean, that wasn't the mainstream either. Nobody was listening to that except for, you know, had like the cult following, and it hung in there and hung in there. And now all of a sudden, now, you know, you got the yuppies driving to IBM listening to, you know, Sandman in the car. Now, I know that's not nowhere near as...
That's because MTV.
Right.
Corrupts
As heavy
people's
duty
minds.
or, you know, in the same necessary vein as what you guys are doing, but it still started the same way.
You know, like hardcore and hardstyle, yeah, it never broke. I mean, it was around, and it was a huge underground following. And then it, like, went, you know, downhill. And now I feel it's coming back.
You feel it's coming back. But do you ever think it will get to that?
There's a couple bands
cool.
out there.
Now, who would you say are like the premier bands of this style?
Of this
While he
style?
rubs his bald head.
I see.
We are.
Now or like what did I like?
No, I would say like right now. Who's out there right now that you can really, you know, you think
I don't know.
really kick some ass?
Or that we like.
Along
That you like? Is there anybody that you like?
in
Is there
this vein.
in this vein?
I like a lot of styles. I mean, like I like Tom Jones and Elvis. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Sure.
You actually like go home and listen to Tom Jones CDs?
Yeah, almost daily.
Really? See, now I think everybody finds that as a shock. I know I do. What about you guys? What else do you listen to besides
I listen to a lot of hardcore rap,
hardcore rap?
a lot of punk.
A lot of diverse.
Punk's my favorite.
Versatile.
And that, you don't want to know nothing but punk, right?
I like everything, but punk's my favorite.
That's what you listen to
I
most of
listen
the
to
time? Are you
Elvis
borrowing
too.
his Tom Jones CDs ever?
We have an Elvis cover band, so
Get out of here.
it never really plays anymore. But
Did you really?
Yeah, we played my garage.
So you're like going out there and doing a show with your band and then going and singing Blue Suede Shoes?
Well, he was very
On
hardcore for
Saturday
his
night?
time. You know?
yeah,
What is it? What do you think were his biggest hardcore attributes, Elvis? I just want to, because my father's a big Elvis fan. I'll be able to go home and tell it to him straight here.
Everything he did, that was totally hard.
Because he was against the grain.
Same, yeah.
his
And that's-
sideburns.
His sides, yeah, they were pretty interesting.
His women.
Yeah. Only to be followed by Mr. Brady some years later, nonetheless. But anyway, before we were talking about Studio One, I understand you guys have played there on a couple of occasions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And how would you say those gigs went?
They went well, you know, but
The Overkill show was good.
Yeah.
You guys played with Overkill?
Yeah.
yeah.
A couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah, really? You guys opened up for that? Because I heard it was like 700 people or something.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
nice.
so
Yeah, it was
which
a good
nice.
night.
Now, what types of places do you guys play? Like, where do bands playing this type of music actually find a home?
Pretty much the same as like the rest of the bands you had on here. You know, it's all like the same thing, just
Is it like-
expressed differently. You know.
Sure, but I mean, is it like Studio One? I mean, what type
Around
of
here, I like personally Asbury Park, Fastlane.
The Fast
Yeah,
Lane?
I dig
that's
that
pretty
place.
much our home.
That's like the stuff.
Now, most people seem to be saying that the original music scene per se, not just hard rock or any particular genre, is kind of falling off the face of the earth. You know, now you go out, you see cover bands a lot, and you know the original band scene is kind of dying. Do you guys think that's true? And is there anything you think's going to happen with that?
There's always gotta be a replacement. You know?
Somebody's got to play their own stuff always.
Hopefully, it's a flourishing thing. You know.
Yeah, because you never want it to die because people don't understand. They'll go out and they want to hear a cover band do Zeppelin, but then there'll never be another Zeppelin or another Sex Pistols or whatever it may be if you don't support
That's the
local
thing.
acts.
That's exactly right. Fans ain't like, you know, they used to be. That's a lot of things died out. You gotta support what you like. You gotta get out there to those shows.
Spend the buck.
Gotta
If you
be
don't,
there.
nobody will be around.
Yep.
All right, good. So we're going to wrap it up, and thank you guys for coming down. Any dates you want to plug real quick?
Can I plug Mike Mazzio Tattoos 257-5962
There you go. And that area code, of course, was
908.
908. All right,
Destiny
and
Tattoos.
so we'll see you guys at the Metal Fest on Saturday night. It'll be on pay-per-view about a week after that, but make it down to Count Basie Theater. This Saturday, see 10 great bands. It's going to be wild. It's going to be nuts. Make sure you bring Grandma. She's really going to appreciate this show. And that wraps it up for this special edition of Video Spotlight. I'm Scott Schaefer. Thanks for tuning in. Rock hard, rock heavy. Peace. See ya.